looking into that. And remember that the budget has a lot in as far as revenue as well as expenditure is concerned, and we will dwell in all that. Is it a progressive budget? Is it not? And what it speaks to in as far as the Zambia's economy and cost of living is concerned. All these will be tackled here on The Burning Issue. And I'm your host, Zakaria Banda. My guest this morning is Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. He is a member of parliament for Lunte constituency. He is an accountant himself by profession, so he's very able to obviously speak to this national budget. Honorable, good to have you, and welcome to The Burning Issue.
It's my pleasure to be here with you, Zaki. Good morning to you. Good morning to our listeners. And yes, indeed, this is my area of interest. So I hope I'll be able to share with our listeners some pertinent issues regarding the budget that was presented to the nation through the National Assembly of Zambia.
Yeah, at least you have an opportunity to speak to the budget.
Of course.
And then you can't speak in Parliament now because you are serving 30 days of 30 suspension.
30 days of suspension.
How do you feel?
And I don't even know what I did. You know, when I listened to the speaker tendering that ruling, it's confusing. But yes, I'm outside, and let me just say I'm comfortable outside. I'm happy. I've received support from my people. I've received support from my fellow members of parliament. I've received support from the party, the Patriotic Front Party. I've received support from the Tonse Alliance partners. So I am very comfortable outside, and thank God for 5FM for providing this platform, because what I'm unable to contribute in the National Assembly due to suspension, I'll be able to deliver that contribution here.
Yeah. What does your suspension do to the people of Lunte?
It gets away from them, their presence in the House, because the views that they would like me to project through the House, I won't be able to do that during the suspension. So it does take away from them, but as I said, they should also be pleased that 5FM is there. They should be pleased that all these platforms are there to be able to offer an opportunity for their views to be heard.
Now, in my preamble, you heard me speak about which you know very well, that the budget is very much centered around revenue and expenditure. Let's discuss these critically. Let's start with expenditure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to start where you want.
Okay.
So the expenditure sheet for the minister is in this book. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see this.
2026. I have a soft copy.
Okay,
of it,
excellent.
Right.
So the expenditure the expenditure sheet would be there.
Yes.
You find it on page 26 of the minister's speech. Now there are notable things from my perspective that I would like you and the Zambian public to take note of. First, the minister has proposed to spend 253.1 billion kwacha in this 1 year. He's going to spend, in this 1 year of 2026, he's going to spend 253.1 billion kwacha. Okay, and we are coming from from the past. We are coming from the PF. The last budget for PF in 2021, it was 119 billion. So you can see the jump from 2021 to 2026. It's a very, very significant jump. Because UPND is spending these high quantums of money, for the 5 years up to 2026, they will have hit over 1 trillion in expenditure. Over 1 trillion, 1.1 plus trillion kwacha in 5 years. Now, for PF, for the 5 years starting from 2021 going backwards, okay, they only spent 507 billion. That is way, way below a trillion. Okay, and my argument elsewhere has been, if PF only spent 507 in 5 years, and UPND is going to spend 1.1 plus trillion, what is there for UPND to show for a trillion plus expenditure for 5 years? And they will take you to CDF. Okay, that's just where they're going to take you. And once they take you to CDF, the minister on the floor of the House, as he delivered this budget, he explained their CDF success for all the period that they have been in office. He forgot that this budget is just for 1 year. He began to say what CDF has done since 2022. Okay, since 2022. The other things, he wasn't referring to that long a period, but for CDF he did. And I find that a problem. I may come to that, I may not, because this is an argument that I've been able to push through, and I am happy that the Zambian people now know that CDF for all these years will be less than 25 billion kwacha. It's going to be less than 25 billion kwacha in a total budget of over 1. Has set aside 4.7 billion kwacha. Okay? Now, if you go in his speech, which is here, this speech, and you want to listen to what the minister said about arrears, you will actually get surprised. Here is what the minister said. Madam Speaker, the outstanding payments to suppliers of goods and services increased by a modest 3.3 billion to 81.4 billion between December 2024 and August 2025. So the minister is saying, I am sitting with suppliers, contractors, who I am owing as government 84.1 billion. I owe you 84.1 billion kwacha. This is the amount I'm owing you. This is the amount UPND government is owing the suppliers and contractors. But even though I know that I'm owing you 84.1 billion, I'm only going to provide 4.7 billion to pay you back. So, what is 84.1 minus 7, or 4.7, minus 4.7? All of those will not be paid in 2026.
Those were 80 billion.
Let me calculate it for you.
If it's 84 billion.
84.1 billion.
Yeah. And
Okay.
he's only going to pay 40 billion.
He's going to 4
billion. Rather.
4.7, not
Yeah.
40. He's only going to pay 4.7. That means that all that 70-something billion kwacha worth of goods and services supplied to government will not be paid. What does that say immediately to the contractors, to the suppliers of goods and services? It tells you that if you borrowed to supply to government and you put your property as collateral, your property is going, because the lender we will not be able to say, we'll wait, we don't know when government is going to pay, we are just going to wait. So this is the message that UPND government is telling to suppliers and contractors. What else must it mean? To me, it means that if I lose my property for failure to pay my debt because I supplied government, my company will fold. And if your company folds, the workers are going home. And when the workers are going home, they are going to suffer there together with those who are already out of employment. Do you know where you confirm this policy? You are going to immediately confirm that this is the focus of the government, because immediately on social cash transfer, the government is saying we are going to spend 7.6 billion. This expenditure of social cash transfer for social protection is going up because government recognizes that they are creating more suffering for the people. They are creating more hunger for the people. And therefore, to please these people, let's increase social protection by way of increasing social cash transfer. So I see just these two figures, tell me a huge story Very huge story. But you see, the UPND will never talk about these areas. Instead, they will take you to CDF. But what is the amount of CDF? 6.2 billion. That is what it is for 2026. 6.2 billion kwacha is certainly less than 84 billion which the government owes to suppliers and suppliers of goods and services to government. So I find this completely inappropriate and insensitive to the people who you want to tax. And we'll come to that when we're dealing with revenue.
Does this mean, on the fact that you've touched on debt that is for obviously suppliers and contractors?
Arrears.
Arrears. Does this really mean also that it's looking unattractive to do business with government?
Absolutely. I mean, how can you be attracted to do business with government when government is not paying you? You can't be attracted to do business with them. But as you know, in a government which has adopted policies of poor governance, their suppliers will be paid. And they cherry pick them. That's why they have provided this 4.7 billion. Remember, when UPND came into power, they instituted illegal audits for arrears. These illegal audits went even to cantonments. Now, after the illegal audits were done, government has never come back to the public to tell the public the contents of the reports of those illegal audits. Government has never told anyone how they have utilized those illegal audits. Okay, so you have a situation where government has a narrative. They have an agenda to set a narrative against the previous government. But when they find there's nothing, then they keep quiet. This is what they have done with the illegal audits. Otherwise, I challenge government to release the results of the illegal audits so that the Zambian people can be able to see that these audits came up with the information as they had suspected. Now, they have audited those areas and they are not paying them. They are not paying them.
What would be your assumption for government to decide to only pay about 4 billion out of 84 billion?
Okay, so my assumption is this. First of all, I want to tell you that you look at local debt service. Government has provided 52 billion kwacha. They are going to pay the debt they borrowed. This tells you that government can pay debt. Okay, foreign debt service, government has provided to pay 21.7 billion. This tells you that they can be able to pay debt. But for the people, these are Zambians, because these are Zambians, they don't care. They don't care. For these local service, these are financial institutions. They borrow money from banks. They borrow money from from the financial markets. So they want to please them. But when you supply a service, you are a poor Zambian. The government does not care about you. They just think for you. You just have to put in money into government, and whenever you be paid, it really doesn't matter. But what they forget is that in the end, you, the Zambian people, you and me, you are the one who is going to be taxed for government to raise all this revenue. So I am sorry, my assumption is that government does not care about the Zambian people who supply them with goods and services. Because if they did care, they would be providing decent amounts to be able to pay. It's just amazing how government thinks. And if you are going to be transformational, you've got to look at these figures and be able to say, if I had the opportunity to run this government, I should change. There has to be, a fundamental shift in the manner you look at these numbers. Do you know that? Do you know that the government has been saying, drug availability has improved so much? They are talking about very high percentage, ratios.
Yeah.
Okay, but look how the money has grown. The drug, drug and medical supplies. The minister has provided 6.4 billion kwacha. What was it in 2021? In 2021 it was 1.4 billion. Okay? So if your drug availability has improved, it means your efficiency has improved. Now, why are you providing gigantic amounts of money in a system where you are telling people there is efficiency?
But also, isn't this as a result of the fact that the US has withdrawn aid on health?
No, last year it was 4.9. It was 4.9. So it has increased to 6.4. You understand?
Given
But what I'm saying,
obviously, I think.
What circumstances are those? You are already, before you do your budgeting, you are saying you are sitting at over 90 availability. You are sitting at over 90% availability. That is what you are telling the Zambian people. The American government has already has put that out, but you are sitting at over 90% availability of medicine. So why are you going to provide such a gigantic figure? And you see, if you have a problem in this sector, I don't mind, you can take it to 10 billion. But tell the people, you see, the point I'm trying to drive is that tell the people the exact situation. Tell the people where you are sitting. You are sitting on theft of medicine. You are sitting on 61 containers of medicine having been hidden. You are sitting on this pilferage. And so your system is 100% imperfect. And because it is imperfect, you are providing more resources to be able to address your imperfections. This is what you should be telling people. But you can't tell people that we are doing so well. To that stuff we know. As a government, you see, we have done so well. And then, that is where you go and provide a gigantic amount of money. This is miscommunication.
Maybe that's how expensive sustainability is.
No, of course, I don't think so. Look, we are coming from 1.4. We're coming from 1.4 billion 4 years ago. This is where we are coming from. 2021, the provision was 1.4. And this 1.4 ensured that there was medicine in hospitals. Cancer hospital was treating patients. Okay? The linear accelerator there was working. The cobalt 60 was working. You understand? Radiotherapy was being provided as well as chemotherapy and all the other, components, including, palliative. All that was being offered in 1.4. That's where we're coming from. But our friends, cancer hospital is just about closed. No machine is working. The LINAC is not working. The cobalt is not working. Okay? The mod room is not working. So you have a problem. You can't provide all these resources to a non-functional function. This is totally non-functional. So I want you, Zaki, and the Zambian people to start to draw parallels. I am happy that government is going to provide a 500 million, electricity fund. Okay, at least government has heard for the first time that people need more electricity in our country. My question to you, government, UPND government, if you can provide 500 million in 2026, why were you not able to provide the same amount in 2025, in 2024, and 2023, when you knew that you are going to load shed people? So stop making decisions based on campaigns. It is poor for UPND to make decisions based on elections. Because abana Zambia bakeshibokwe bati, okay, ama right twala kwata mu 2026 pantukulia ma elections. No mbanga bali win ne ba UPND, umupamba wachitika ba UPND ba win na mu 2026. Mukesa sangati another 4 years of load shedding. Elo lyokesa mukuba ma election mu 2031, elo futi bakesebika kwa 500 million, electricity fund. It's irresponsible. Government should think about its people's sustainable living. They should be able to provide these critical matters. Even this 500 million they have provided is too little. How long is this? How long and how far is this 500 million going to take them? And you see, I heard the minister, you know, by the time he was presenting this, I was already suspended, if you know.
Yeah.
And I listened to him from home. I heard him. No, we in this sector we have now brought in private sector players who are able to import and export electricity. Okay, then I think there were some reactions. People mentioned some canon and so on. So he said, yes, you see, ZESCO got electricity from Mozambique, and ZESCO was not able to pay. So if ZESCO goes to get power, the suppliers will refuse and say, you are a bad borrower until you pay up front. That's when, this is why these private players are important. They have good credit ratings. Now, when you look at that historical electricity debt, my brother, that money was borrowed by, that service was actually contracted by government. For that money has never sat on ZESCO ledgers. It sits on the sovereign ledger. How can ZESCO transact on something and then the bill goes to sit on a sovereign ledger? So it's very important to project accurate data, particularly when you are talking to the citizens. But I'm also very, very sad when I look at the provision that is going to the tourism sector. On a consistent basis, tourism sector has been starved of what tourism sector requires to be able to develop and provide sustainable employment, sustainable sustainable attraction to tourists, so that you can have these jobs. Kukitwa kulya. Kukitwa kwali sana umkuba muishita shakare. That area, Ndola, Kitwe, Chingola, Mufurira, Chirilabombwe, that area, the Kitwe was called the hub then because it's in the center, right? Now, ulia mkuba ulia, lidiabale imba kumindolo, lidiabale imba kunkana kulia, lidiabale imba ku 2 shaft, na ku 7 shaft, kuchibuluma, and they went into metal rocks as they are doing the mining in Mufurira and Chirabomba and everywhere. That copper is reducing. And eventually the copper will finish. What jobs will be in those areas when there's no more mining in years to come? You want to provide tourism activities that are sustainable. You just want to do that because people have to transition from mining to agriculture to tourism. Now, you need to provide tourism in the education sector, tourism in the health sector, tourism in the mainstream tourism. You've got to have that imagination. And you know that people, like what is happening in Lusaka, right? I think we are just about becoming a tourist capital when it comes to education. If you go to the University of Lusaka, even at the University of Zambia, the Apex University, you have a lot of foreign students. Now that is good. That is good. Okay? That is what we ought to begin to think about, not CDF. Not thinking in terms of CDF. CDF can't create tourism infrastructure anywhere. It can't. But this government, the UPND government, this is all they think about. CDF. Because
I expected you to be happy as a member of parliament because this has been increased from 36.1 million kwacha to 40 million kwacha per constituency.
The CDF is not mine. Even the CDF in
but
Lunte.
You should be proud.
Let me tell you, I'll be proud of development, not CDF. Okay.
But it comes out of
no. This amount. This is my argument. This amount can't bring any meaningful development. This amount is political development that it will do. It can't bring any meaningful development.
Why?
The reason is this: CDF is not even a sustainable means of developing even a water reticulation plant because CDF does not even provide for maintenance. CDF does not even provide for the running of that CDF police vehicle. Does not, for its maintenance. CDF does not provide for the running and maintenance of that ambulance. It doesn't. So it's a political development, and for me, as myself, I refuse to praise CDF at the expense of, and listen, this budget we're talking about, 253.1 billion kwacha. That's what it is. And CDF is just 6.2 billion. 6.2 billion kwacha. That is for the whole country. So I refuse to raise a flag in appreciation or in what do you call, in praise singing for CDF, and then the remainder of the money, the government can't even provide decent amount to pay, people who have supplied, goods and services to them. I can't. Look at what is going to Farmer Input Support Program, 9.1 billion kwacha. This is the money which is going to the Farmer Input Support Program, the FISIP. Yeah. Now, this amount is a decent amount. It's a huge amount. So you tell me why, and in fact it has reduced this year, because last year, or which is this year we are in now, 2025, it was 9.2 billion. They have reduced by a 0.1 there, okay? So, but it's still a decent amount. Why are people given fertilizer in medals? When you are providing this huge amount, it's impossible to imagine. It's impossible. So you provide money here, where will it go? It will go to corruption. It will go to maladministration. At the end, what you are taking to the people is so little that people can only share medals. So where you see UPND putting money, you need to think twice. You really need to think twice.
I'm still uncomfortable. Let me take you back to CDF. I'm still uncomfortable the fact that as a member of parliament,
yes,
you speak so ill of the CDF.
Okay.
And is this? I mean, what then do you tell the people of Lunte about CDF?
Okay.
Do you speak to them that there is development coming and it's coming through the CDF? I mean, if a block of a classroom is built,
yes,
what do you tell the people?
Excellent.
I mean, let me just...
It's a good question.
Yes.
It's a good question, and let me now, let me be structured on this.
Okay.
Do you know why you have a problem with my view on CDF? You've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed by UPND. UPND has ensured that you as a journalist, you think that the panacea of the problems in the constituency is CDF. And you are in big problems. While UPND has brainwashed you to think like that, I want to tell you that out of this 253.1 billion, they have only taken 6.1 billion to CDF. And if you will be thinking like that, you are going to forget about the over 240 billion that is remaining, and you never talk about it. You'll be talking about CDF. Let me tell you, CDF in Lunte operates very well. It operates like no constituency in this country, because for me as a member of parliament, I take only the interest I am mandated to take, which is to be in the committee which appropriates the programs. And that is it. All the other functions are done by those who are mandated to do so. I take no personal interest in CDF. I take no personal interest in any finances that relate to the people. I take no personal interest. I only do my role as mandated by law. Then, when they deliver those projects, I am happy for my people. But what I'm telling my people is that you will never put a tarmac on Lunte Zakaria Chanda Road using CDF. You will never see a road that is coming from Mparapata through Mlengamapesa into Mupakaoma using CDF. You will never see the road that is coming from Maute through Basilio Mosen to Kandondo using CDF. You will never see those things. The only way you can see those things is if government becomes serious and began to allocate decent amounts to sector, to sector functions, and also ensure that that money is properly applied. Then you will see telecommunication towers, then you will see main hospitals, then you're going to see schools, not classroom blocks.
But also, that's why you are there, to lobby for those things that CDF
The budget is here. The budget is here. The budget is here, my friend. This is what we are going through. This is what we are going through. Where do you see decent amounts going? Debt payment. Okay? Where do you see decent amounts going? It is FISIP. FISIP, where they give our farmers fertilizer in Medaz. Where do you see decent amounts going? Social cash transfer, where because of the creation of suffering by the UPND government, they create suffering and then they begin to fund that suffering through the social cash transfer. So listen, my brother, I am sorry. It doesn't matter how well UPND will ever score on CDF. It doesn't matter. They can even score 100%. But unfortunately, they can't because you ask UPND, atamaloni yaryamwapele amakadazi ba UPND through CDF. Niba wesha mukavepushe. Ask them. Today I know a number of suppliers of desks who have not been paid. I know. They supplied like 4 months ago, they've not been paid. And the part of the reason is that from 2022 up to now, CDF in Lunte has never been funded 100%. And if that is the case in Lunte, it has to be the case in other constituencies. So even though you praise this thing, you have no idea what problems it is carrying. You have no idea, what. For me, my main issue is that you can't give the focus that you have given CDF. It's too little an amount in a budget of 253. Earlier I told you that the Minister of Finance explained all the success of CDF since 2022. Why did he find it important to establish the success of CDF since 2022? Why is the minister not talking about illicit financial flows? Why is he not talking about illicit financial flows, which are way more than CDF? The money that the country has lost because of illegal flow of money out of this country. It's way more than. In 3 months, we lost 60 billion kwacha. 3 months, a quarter of a year, you lose 60 billion kwacha. Then you lose 3.5 billion United States dollars. Before you wake up the following quarter, you lose another 3.5 billion United States dollars. That is not all. You have lost 2.8 billion United States dollars. And you won't end there. You've lost 34.5 billion kwacha. Why? Since 2022. Up to now, why did the minister find it appropriate to talk about those quantums of losses by government? Why didn't the minister find it important to explain how much money he has lost because of these targets which they have given away to a foreigner who came in the name of a PPP? Nishi minister tabala ndilefyo. Nishi baishireko sirapakulondololo tuma achievement to CDF. Which CDF? CDF in 2022 it was 3.2 billion. In 2023, it was 3.5 billion. In 2024, it was 3.8 billion. This year we are in 2025, it is 5.6 billion. And in next year, it will be 6.2 billion. Etuma numbers, etuma minister, explain my achievement for the country. You leave me alone. Listen, I don't want to be emotional on this matter.
Let's then get to revenue. I also do see that the minister actually, first of all, I don't know what your thoughts are, but we know that there's been an adjustment, upward adjustment in terms of citizen fees, visa fees, firearm licensing fees, mobile money levy rates. The Minister of Finance is also, whilst there is this,
Yes.
in as far as revenue is concerned, we also hear that there will be, government will actually also recruit an additional 2,000 health workers by the end of 2025, meaning obviously in the last quarter, while 2,500 will be recruited in 2026. I'm trying to weigh revenue versus expenditure
Okay.
around this. Yeah.
I showed you this book.
Yes.
I want to show you another one. This one. This is called 2026 Annual Borrowing Plan.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Annual Borrowing Plan.
Right.
That means UPND is going to borrow
Next year.
next year.
Right.
They are going to borrow locally and they will borrow from foreign sources. And they have put the figures in this annual borrowing plan which they are going to borrow. If we decided to be structured, we would say government will earn from domestic and foreign sources 253.1 billion. That is what they expect to earn. And then spend it in the manner we were describing it and beyond. Because there are several things we have not talked about on the expenditure side of the budget.
Right.
So, vavuteko valelanda timpia tukapanga mu 2026 is 253.1 billion. Ishimpia tukashi spenda in the manner we have tried to establish. Now, the minister said from domestic revenue, impia shikafuma muno mucharo chesu cha Zambia, shikava 206.4 billion. That's what he said. He said it here on page 25. Okay? Madam, I propose to spend 253.1 billion or 27.4% of GDP. This will be financed from domestic revenues of 206.5 billion, which is 81.6% of the total budget or 23% of GDP. Grants from cooperating partners of 12.1 billion or 48% of total budget will complement domestic revenues. The balance of 34.5 billion or 3.7% of GDP will be financed through domestic and external borrowing. So the minister explains very well there. But let's go to domestic revenue, 206.4. This is what the minister has said is going to source from within the country. 204. Look how much is going to borrow locally. It's here in the borrowing plan. Okay, and I'll read it. It's on page 2. Accordingly, gross domestic borrowing for the year 2026 is projected at 106 billion. Gross, before mumwe borrowing it before tabaralipila moshimbi Kongole. So we take the borrowing of 106. Okay? So since this is local borrowing, it's part of the domestic what? Revenue. So muli 206 E206. Ngatuwafumiamo local borrowing of 106. Mule shala 100.4 billion. Okay? This is what will remain. So this 100.4 billion is the amount of money which ideally should come from taxes, non-revenue, non-tax revenue, and so on. But look at what the minister is saying in his schedule. Where, revenue, on the revenue schedule. Okay. Domestic revenue, he quotes exactly this same number which is in his, which is on the text, on the qualitative text, 206.4. Tax revenue, 165.8 billion. 165.8, but yet is going to borrow 106 billion. So if you add 165.8 plus 106, you are not going to get the 206. So this budget has got fundamental, calculation problems, serious calculation problems and its difference is 65.3 billion. I did my calculation. Already you have a problem with a national budget at arithmetic. So inge 65.3 billion excess nikuisa muilandiri omutakuli na ngufe kumo. This is a national budget. The government needs to be serious. I challenge the UPND government to explain this difference of 65.3 billion, which is on domestic revenue. It's immoral to mislead people with such quantums of numbers. Explain to the people where this 65.3 billion is going to go. But also, my brother, foreign financing. Remember, there are only two sources: local financing and foreign financing. Okay, and locally there will be tax revenue, non-tax revenue, and borrowing, local borrowing. Okay, then internationally there's going to be borrowing and also grants. Okay. Financing, foreign financing, that means loan akaya kafuma pansa ya chalo ba minister balera ndati ni 12.9 billion kwacha. Okay, then grants is 12.1 billion kwacha. You understand, my brother? Am I with you there?
Yes.
So what is the sum total of foreign financing and grants? It's 25 billion. So from external sources, your total revenue will be 25 billion. Why have you reported 34 billion? Okay, why have you reported 34 billion? Maybe I should go back to that, because if you're maybe I should go back to that text. The balance of 34.5 billion or 3.7% of GDP will be financed through domestic and external borrowing. This is what it is. Have you seen? So I have a serious problem with this budget, a very serious problem. But these calculations can be looked at in any way one wants. This is how I've been able to look at them. Let's go to these same measures now. Measures. Earlier I said ubuteko bwenu tabwakalipile ama suppliers and ama contractors, because ubuteko bulechita 84.1 billion, but bwalanda fiati tukamilipira kofe 4.7 billion. That means the big chunk will not be paid. That means the businessmen and women who do business with government will not be paid in 2026. But listen to what they are going to do to you. The taxes are going to be increased. Taxes on who? On the dying business. A business which will not be paid. Okay? The minister has proposed to increase mobile money levy. Who is going to pay this increased budget to 253? It is the mobile money agent, that guy who transfers utuma small kwachas, from Kafwaya to Zaki. Government is going for that one. Government is going for somebody who is seeking citizenship in your country. Okay? Umuntu who is seeking, Zaki, I don't know, do you have children?
Yes.
You do have children. I also have children. Now, you see, let me say something here. You know, the future union of your children is always unknown. It's always unknown. You can't determine where your child is going to marry. You can't. This is now a global village. Your child may decide to marry a Japanese, okay, a Mozambican, or somebody from Angola. Now, umwana wenu bazaki ngaupa, aupo mwina Angola. Na ngwa upo kumwina Angola. Then, umulume wako na ngumukashi wako ulio mwina fialo. Aisa monata, I think tientuye ikara kuzambia. Ndefwaya, impoke citizenship ya kuzambia pakuti mbio mwina Zambia. Ba UPND balunda ma fees. Ukufuma, pali 26,000 kwacha. Bale mfanenso nukubika increase muma kwacha. Ukusa ibika pa $10,000. From 26,000 kwacha to $10,000. How I would be happy if my child is married to a Zimbabwean. And then uliomu anaisa landati, baisa mfana no mulume wakwati, bala isa mkwika na Mzambia. Because inanga wishi, nishina kwata chance yako bati, badaba na nkalaba mona. Nomba, pakwa bati ulio, partner wa mwana wandiwa kuzimbabwe, bese munochalo, afuili alipila $10,000. Who is paying? It is my child. Who is paying, Zaki? It is your child, it is your relative, it is your niece, your nephew, your uncle. These are the ones. Now, ubuteko, budget yonse, bailembere mumakwacha. You see how the UPND try to hide mischief? Because it is so bad to say we have increased from 26,000 to 245. Abantu balafulwa. How can you increase so insensitively? How can you increase so unjustifiably? Abantu balafulwa. Baisa bika $10,000, which will carry the same numbers of zeros like the 26,000. This is bad for my country. Let's not forget that citizenship is a right. It is a right. You see, there are many people who migrated from this country when the economic conditions were so difficult. They went to several countries, including the US and the UK. But abantu kutibafwaye bali abantu abachire denounce citizenship yesu tibafwaye okubwera bali bena Zambia bale ko kuba bena Zambia baya babena fyalo nomba bale abalekula kutibafwaye okubwera muchalo chabo bese bekale na babruru ba upantu kaucha kuntu baba yapusana na kaucha kumya boko batashani ko bafumine uli omuntu pakubwera tukalipire $10,000. This is bad. It's terrible. Why do I see this as terrible? I see it as terrible because ubuteko bubulela ndefi ebu apela mo pani abena fialo kwa bulokula bali pitisha nanguchimo chondela ndilefi ububwini obuteko ebu apela amatogeti apa ndola Lusaka dual carriageway ukwa woba apela tabi kamo nanguchimo chondela ndilefi. Okay, there are many, many ways to raise money. Many ways to raise money. One of the ways is to make sure that sujlight iliamwa iba yonse sujlight nga ya bombere ukuya mubuteko. Godi iliamwa ibire ilia godi iliamuchiri mule ibana nomba. Godi ilianga ya bombere indalamo ukuya mubuteko. Lithium iliamwa ibire. These illicit financial flows, close the loopholes, just close them. Don't say we are going to tax illegal money. You can't be taxing illegal money. Now, this movement is illegal, no, we are going to tax. What type of irresponsibility is that? You can't do that. How do you tax illegality? Because taxation is legal. Then you tax if you are illegal. UPND. So my brother, this budget has got serious difficulties for the Zambian people. It's got serious difficulties for anybody who thinks about the people, anybody who thinks about the welfare of our country. And I am sorry, if this is how we will continue thinking as a nation, we are going nowhere. This budget must be re-engineered people should begin to think about ways of creating finances without stressing citizens. Aba bantu mwali bachita stress na load shedding. Aba bantu mwali bachita stress nemikalile. If yakulya fyali kosa omutengo, people are suffering, transport yali nina. All these things are so expensive. And then you have to stress them even on taxation. You have to stress them even on things that you should be saying, no, abantu katubonfuire koluse. Look at the things he said, you know, on CDF. And that's where you even feel more pain. Because ku CDF kuna abami bepaika na abami bepaika na abami bepaika. Didi abami bepaika na ka CDF ero nomba baisa mku kama pamkosh. Iwola shitisha ka system ka kuchita transact ka mobile money tulelundako. Tulelunda kwa mtengo. But ngafikumine bali abamwisa, ngafikumine bali abalupia sana muri kino kyalo abayisafya muku kitefya mining. Bali nga bakumanaka bungu ati yo tientu kite export copper ore butekwa tientu bafumisheko tax. Mwafu ubutekwa tientu bafumisheko tax. Pakwe bati nga bayimba malo baya kwete kopa pakwe yachita export belipila na nguchimo. Abo bene mwachitirefyo ebo mwaisafumishako mineral royalty tax. Mwali bafumishako yali bwela. Lidia ya bwela mwaisa viva noko bati it's going to be deductible for tax purposes. Nga mwali pila mineral royalty tax mukesa ingisha na ku income statement. So that mukese fumiyako the amount of corporate tax you can be able to pay by that equivalent. You are reckless. And listen, my brother. This is a government which has even determined the target of copper output for the private sector. Then you know you are in a confused state of things. Ubuteko bwikala mu cabinet. Wapanga decision mu cabinet ubuteko. Ukutila by 2031 mining sector ifure achita produce 3 million metric tons of copper. Ubuteko bula achita ko mine mu Zambia. Ubuteko ni mining company. Instead of them saying we'll end corruption, instead of them saying by 2031 we'll end tribalism, by 2031 we are going to end maladministration. That is what you are charged to do. You start now saying the mines should produce this quantum of copper. When did the government start making objectives for the mining sector?
Well, because it is responsible for creating the environment. It is obviously the government is the one that is attracting investors in that area. And
Okay.
I think that the whole purpose is once those targets are reached, then government should be able to do fine economically.
Let me tell you, Zach. Let me tell you. You are government. You are UPND government. You are not a private sector. That is the worst form of interference to go and tell the MNOs that by 2031 you must have 20,000 people registered on your mobile network. You can't. You can't do that because for those mining entities to achieve their objectives, they put in capital equivalent to what they think is appropriate to achieve their objectives. How can you determine how much a mining company is going to bring in as capital into their own mine? How do you sit in cabinet to start saying, tamkwete ba mazembia bengi, bikire npo ba mazembia bali 50 for government to achieve its objective? Okenga bali mu agriculture sector. Those investors in the agriculture sector. What about those in the technology sector? What about those in the transport sector? What are you going to tell them? That by 2031 they should have how many trucks? How many locomotives? Listen, create an environment where there's no corruption. Create an environment where there are no illicit financial flows. You make money for the people easily. Create an environment where there's no tribalism. You will unite the country easily. Don't say tribalism can be pushed only by this person. Enangaland that you can't employ this person is from Eastern Province, you can't employ them. It's okay. No, don't do that.
Let's get to the fact that much as you've criticized this budget, it's not all bad. It should have the positives.
Of course,
from your end.
of course,
I mean,
yeah,
and,
yes,
and I
yes,
think you
yes.
mentioned some
Yes,
of the positives.
yes.
Other than the fee SIP allocation, which you said is
Yes.
positive. What else has this budget? I mean, what else is positive around this?
Around this
Yeah.
this budget is positive because government UPND will hit 1 trillion. That's a big amount. That's a big amount of government expenditure in 5 years. 1.1 trillion plus is a big amount. That is positive. What I want government to do is to correlate that amount of expenditure to deliverables. What has government delivered? What has government delivered? In view of this huge amount of expenditure. So let's not cheat ourselves. But also, I want government to say, this is how people are going to feel good. This is how much incentives we are going to offer the indigenous Zambian people. Don't tell me about cash for work, because that's just politics, and very poor politics. Don't tell me about, but 253.1, huge. UPND has achieved it. You are good at big figures. Tulangeni kwa projects, big projects. Show us one like the KKIA, the Terminal 2, KKIA Terminal 2. Show us, like the Mongu Kalabo Road, where you have the Imwiko Bridge. Tulangeniko, okay? Tulangeniko, another Sioma, Mongu Sioma Road, which has a series of bridges across the plains and across the Zambezi River. Show us just a project which is like the Kazungula Bridge. In this 1.1 trillion plus, you can't be talking about CDF. It's irresponsible.
This is the Thursday edition of the Burning Issue here on the Happy Word of 5 FM radio. Remember, we are also live on our partner radio stations. We are live on Katete FM on 103.3 FM and covering the rest of Eastern Province. Live also on Spice FM in Central Province, in Kabwe to be precise, on 91.1. We are also live on ZFM in Kapiri on 100.3 FM, and of course live in Ndola and the rest of the Copper Belt on Platinum Radio 99.7. Also iWave FM Radio in Chingola on 90.1. Not forgetting in Mansa, Wapula Province is well catered for because we are live on Tuta FM in Mansa on 90.7 and also live on Muchinga Radio in Chinsali, covering Muchinga Province on 88.1 FM. This is Tuesday edition of the Burning Issue. We are also live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia. We are live on Grindstone TV as well as Smart Eagles. Those are on Facebook. All right. So our guest this morning is Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. He is Member of Parliament for Lunte constituency and, of course, an accountant by profession. And all our conversation, even as we take your phone calls, should be centered around the budget, because today's burning issue is everything around the 2026 national budget. So we'll take your calls, and good morning. We have one here. Good morning. Good morning, thank you. Can you reduce the volume on your radio, please? Willie.
Good morning, thank you, Mr. Willie.
Thank you very much for that, Willie. And we'll take some more on 0955-221515. This is the Thursday edition of the Burning Issue. Good morning. Now, Kamwakabwandiwa Oswald.
Thank you, Oswald.
Oswald dinachilanda na ti lero tulelanda fe pa budget. So we are not discussing party politics. Thank you very much for your call though and your contribution. We appreciate that. Great, thank you. So let's see if I can take some more calls on 0955-221515. Our conversation is everything centered around the 2026 253.1 billion Kwacha national budget, which was presented by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwane, on the 26th of September 2025 in the National Assembly. All right, so let's take some more calls. Good morning. Good morning, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Good morning, thank you, Mr. Moses.
Moses, unfortunately, we're not discussing Tonse, we're not discussing politics. We are discussing the budget and strictly the budget. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And maybe I can let you react to some of those.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Zaki. Thank you, Willie from Nangoma, Oswald and Moses from Mandevu. I appreciate your intervention in this program. Willie is trying to call me to order. CDF is working. CDF should not be condemned. CDF is a good program. Look, my brother, CDF is working. In Lunte, yes, the Land Cruiser is there for the police. It's called the CDF Police. The ambulance is there in Lunte. It is called the CDF ambulance. The project monitoring vehicle is there in Lunte. It's called the CDF projects monitoring vehicle. I have to tell you, CDF is Constituency Development Fund. That is a fund where the people in Lunte should decide how it is applied, how it works. All those vehicles were decided by central government. None of them was decided by the people of Lunte. I don't know in Ngoma, but what I can tell you is that those things were given, were presented in showgrounds in Lusaka. That means they came from a directive. Now, if you have a CDF program, which is supposed to be directed by ward development committees, why is central government directing where the money should go? These are my problems, my brother. And when you condemn the application of the policy, that is not condemning the policy in its entirety. The other thing I'm condemning is you, my brother Willie, like my brother here, Zaki, who is interviewing me, you are wasting a lot of time thinking about CDF. CDF is just 3% of the budget. Why don't you spend time thinking about the 97%? Why don't you ask UPND where the 97% of the budget goes? Why don't you ask UPND about the insurmountable, the gigantic illicit financial flows? Why don't you ask them about the escalating corruption? You won't, because they have conditioned you to be thinking that CDF is everything. And my brother even tells me, no, kuna Ngoma, we have now secondary schools. CDF has not built a single secondary school in this country. Let me tell you, CDF can only build a block of classroom, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 10 in a constituency. Secondary schools are located by central government. So clearly you are mistaken if your MP, who is a minister, comes to tell you that CDF has built a secondary school. They can build a classroom block. There is no question about that. And the man says, even you, Kafwaya, you graduate. You know, at one time, waredi omusunga, wafuma mu musunga wambo kuliako obwali. Chitaka to Sheffield. You are right. You are right. This now he marries this to when PF took over from MMD and says fuel in MMD was so cheap, but imamula that mwaishile pa 17 kwacha. Do you think this fuel should be at 17 kwacha after time has passed? 4 years UPND has been in power. Well, I actually don't think so. But what I can remind you is a promise of UPND. What did they promise? UPND promised that this 17 kwacha was going to reduce by 3 kwacha. So this petrol, which was at 17 kwacha, should have started at 15 kwacha. And then the diesel, which was at 15 kwacha, was supposed to go down to 12 kwacha. Did fuel go down in that fashion? The answer is no. So ubufi by UPND, ubufi, and I show you ubufi while it's that transition in number from campaign ubufi to even financial documents and documents of the state. And I can show you ubufi budi munani kani muma papers ubufi budi. I can show you about what government is saying about economic growth. Economic growth. I can show you what government is saying about their own target and what they have put in their budget schedule. The figures are different. Government is through this budget is saying their target in 2026 is to reduce the fiscal deficit to 2.1% of the GDP. When you go to that schedule, we're looking at the schedule of revenue, you find that themselves, they say the borrowing is going to be 3.7% of GDP. Themselves. in the same document, two different numbers talking about the same outcome. Fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? Isn't it the same borrowing we are talking about? Now, what has the minister said they are going to borrow? He said they are going to borrow 3.7% of GDP. But what is his target? His target is to achieve 2.1% of GDP. What type of misleading is that? What type of So, ububu fibwafuma kuma campaign promises. Okay, from campaign promises to documented falsehoods. You understand? That is why I caution you to be careful about the way you look at CDF. And I don't actually doubt why somebody from Mandevu would be questioning CDF. Because look at how much you say about it. Okay. Maybe kulunte ni kumushifu tulivena mushi tuasumina ifwe tunifwe baka mushifu evena lunte tuasumina tieni mumandevu tulangeni project ya CDF yeah man tulangeni you are going to produce land cruisers. Show us a sensible project in Mandevu. And by saying Mandevu, I'm not attacking my brother, Honorable Shakafusu. The same problems in Mandevu are in Lusaka Central. Same problems in Lusaka Central are in Chawama. Same problems in Chawama are in Matero. Show us a sensible project. Takudi, you won't be able to show us. Maratwala pari boho. Why should you be supplying water using bohos in Mandevu town? Why? Why should you be supplying water using boho mutauni 61 years after independence? Why should that be the case? So, I am deeply sorry. I agree with my honorable colleagues. But listen to Moses. For Moses, he says there are policies which are not inspiring at all. Into meko fiakalu pia kuliba mayo kupeta oke. Into meko fiakalu pia kuliba mayo kupeta oke kubonfia mobile money. Vala tuliamo nomba va minister balera ndati ilia tumiliamo na ichepa tulelundako twakula miliamo mo okay eni ati amato fees balelunda amato fees but balelunda lilia babula amato gate bapela abena fialo ero balia bapela fila tulanda lyonse tabaishire nangu chimo baishire feminwe nkutwa no tufyora twafya kufwala baisa bapela amato gate ye balepoka bati amato gate abapangire bena zambi. And then you can even stand there and say PF borrowed. They borrow to create a target. That target you come and give it away. Very insensitive.
0955221515. We've got a message from all the way from Katete. Here in Katete, nothing has come out of the so-called CDF, e.g. poor roads, no electricity. This is Telekako Piri, all the way from Katete. Thank you very much for your feedback. You can send us an SMS on the same number, 0955221515, and we'll be able to read that. Also, leave us a comment on our Facebook page, and that's 5FM Radio Zambia. And you can as well call us on this same number. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Your name and where are you calling us from? Yes, Mr. Chukubal.
Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. Chikuwawe. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Let me see if I can take some more. Let me get to this one. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yeah, your line is quite bad. Your line is quite bad. Please try and call us back on 0955221515. That's the number you're calling us on. And also send us your SMS if you like on the same number. We'll be reading it out. Let's take this one. Good morning. Morning to you. Thank you very much for calling.
Good. Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you, sir.
But we're discussing the budget. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Strange that Proud would basically admit
It's
well,
not. It's
not admitting, but
It's not strange, Zaki. It's not strange. You need to give support to people like that because it's being patriotic. Anyway, you are.
yeah. I'm supposed to take another call. Let me take another call, then you can react. Good morning. Twashubuka katushubuka shamkwai. Mkwai atibani mkwai no kutuma muleto mina kui.
Entitam kwa mashuke na tena sana.
Napita chile shemkwai.
Emkwayi nempesha. Emkwayi.
Would you like to react?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much. Mweba Karamba Bachileshana Totera Sana. My brother, proud. I'm grateful to you as I am to Mr. Chikubabe and the man who sent a text from Katete. Katete, that's what somebody who lives there is saying, poor roads and so on and so forth. That is true for everywhere because as I said, we should not forget that at the end of 2026, UPND will have spent over 1.1 trillion kwacha. We should not forget that. That's a very important point. Now, after having spent over 1.1 trillion kwacha, UPND would have done near nothing. This participant from Katete has said so. And Mr. Chikubabe also comes to, to talk about CDF. It is true. Chachine fima equipment fya kupangira ma gravel. Many constituencies have bought them. Even in Lunte we have bought some. But of course, in Lunte we already had a grader, which we bought through Equalization Fund a long time ago, in my first term. And we have supplemented these machines. But these machines can only do gravel roads. Maybe kulunte kuti mwaranda te kulunte ama gravel road katupange. But na ye na gravel road pako ya panga in a constituency like that. CDF must be properly funded. Pako ya fuel na service of those vehicles, payment of operators can be guaranteed. Tevo fine bazaki. Nomba gravel road mumandevu. How? Gravel road mumandevu. How? Gravel road mulusaka centro. Gravel road mulusaka centro. Mwaya mchalalo you know part of chalala kurio kuikarila ba president mulusaka centro, you know that, right? Ngamwa cross afye Musotunya road. That way it's Lusaka centro. Mwaya mukupanga gravel mulusaka centro. Nishirifisha famulera nda kubantu. Mwe panga gravel Matero. In Matero constituency, you go and make a gravel. What are you telling people? Nishi mureba finsha vena Lunte. Nishi tama ki yabalole la vena Lunte Zakaria Sandaro dika taraikesa mcharo. Nishi tamwa kaimone. That's the point. So why are you increasing the budget to 1 trillion in 5 years if you can't do Lunte Zakaria Sandaro? You can't do Nseluka Kayambiro. Aba fiashi aba chiranda baranda we ibaire kwa Nseluka kule. There's nothing. Nseluka Kayambiro has not been done. Okay, Mporokoso Kaputa Road has not been done, has not even been planned for. You know, you have Mporokoso Kawamba Road, not even planned for, and I can show you the roads which the minister talked about, which he planned, Ifyama PPP and so on. So it's very, very unfortunate, and the proud puts it in the best way possible. Listen, I budget yeve tinaitaya. Bali itaya uyule lando ekala mgarden proud nalanda pavuta tutwati inete ine PF inete ine opposition ine nebo UPND areva baminista babwati takwava teti muise mulandi ati tufirefo tipusukiramo ifwe fyama Airtel mane eko mulunde akana ati tefye fifyena abe bati fifya ama plastic fyama plastic fyala onaula amakwebo yali ayashele kofye muno chalo ayashele kofye muchalo efirelanda ba proud. Okay, because he notes that what has killed businesses in this country is actually load shedding. Efya ipaya amakwebo ya muno chalo ni load shedding. By now UPND should have ended load shedding, because even last year's budget was a very big budget, but yet UPND could not import power in order to supplement what it was generating to give all the people power. Instead, by UPND, they were exporting power. You saw that that delegation abafumine ku Namibia abashire mukutasha ba vice president tabareta sho muntu munono muchalo bareta sho muntu number 2 muchalo cha Zambia ukutila imwe ku Zambia kuli mfifi lelo kumwe sitakwabe mfifi patumula tupela amalaiti mulatushtisha mulemfu washitisha abana bamubiyo baleri abaleyi kuti abana bobe balela lensala uli mufyashi wa msango shani mulemfu. But the minister even added in parliament in this speech, he said, now we have brought the private sector muri energy sector. But these private sector players, we allow them to import power from the pool, you know, the regional pool, and export it. What type of thinking is that? This is exactly what you did na kubunga ubunga muzambia nabukosa omutengwe chine but mwasumini shobu teko through ZNS bare ya muku odo ubunga ku South Africa buleisa muku pitamo fye munoko na ole nisebo bwaya ku Congo ero ubuteko ebuine ebulechita import on behalf of the people of another country. It happened. So this focus on foreigners bane chefye niko kutemusha ama foreigners ukuchira abantu bene, you need to solve the problems of your people before you can start thinking about solving problems of your neighbors. This is very, very important, and I can't appreciate this man more. You know, he says bakateka nga mwabwela kuli konsoko mwaya kama ndi intervene. Make sure that ba mobile money bafumieko ayama tontonkanyo yabunkalwe ayaku monokutila abantu bambo kulipila impiesha isha pamuru sana nama togete ayamulelunda kwaya abala chula bena Zambia lelo bade mwapela ama togetes bade mwapela ama toll plazas bena bala nonkelamo ero mwabapela emyaka eyingi chine ama togete otwakulire mwili veriyeso.
Let me give you some more text messages. I've got one here from, well, we don't seem to have a name, but I'll go for the one with the name. Let me see. Why would a responsible government raise mobile money tariffs? Sure. This is Papa Samoa from Kingola. The one that doesn't have a name on it, it says morning, just to find out in Chisamba, no CDF, and MP no seen, right? Good morning, boss. My name is Brighton from within Lusaka. My question to you is, to what extent might this streamlined VAT refunds for exporters boost 2026 domestic revenue to 206.5 billion kwacha, and what risks do they pose if tax evasion persists in high value sectors such as telecoms? I think that's an important question that I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is an important question, but it requires calculations.
Yeah.
Okay, it requires calculations. You have to look at the various factors that are affecting what is concerned about, and make a calculation so that you can properly establish the effect. But just to say, the tax and non-tax there is not even 206. I told you that UPND is going to borrow 106 billion kwacha. This is the amount which is in their borrowing plan for 2026. So this tax and non-tax revenue is just 100.4 billion. So we should not be mistaken to think that all of this is coming from tax and non-tax sources. Only 100.4 billion. Now, this 100.4 is less than what they are going to borrow, because they will borrow 106 billion. Now, in this only 100, which is lower than local borrowing, they are taxing Zambians more. They are even increasing in mobile money levy. This government is irresponsible. There's no other way of putting it. Sambano CDF MP, well, I know that CDF, you can be given proper information if you visit the council. The council has records of CDF, but for us MPs, I think we have different challenges. You need to have money to visit your people. If hundreds of kilometers away from the National Assembly, you need to have fuel money, you need to have all this and that. Sometimes it's difficult to visit people, but you need to be in touch with the people at least at all times, from my perspective.
Dominic Chitiku on Facebook says, good morning, Zach and Honorable Kafwaya. What is your comment on the issue of transport and logistics? I'm saying this because the minister took time on roads rehabilitation. As for me, 2026 budget is a hoax and is too ambitious. Why increase CDF to 40 million kwacha when 36.1 million kwacha has not been utilized prudently? I think he meant 36.1 billion has not been utilized prudently. Also, I've got another one. It says, this one is from Lewis Moyer, who says this is, there is nothing to appreciate over budget for UPND. They are using CDF to build a house for a musician. Why not buy wheelchairs at many mini hospitals? This is very disappointing. I've got a message here as well on Facebook from Gift Zambia, who says, morning Zach and Honorable Kafwaya. Yes, it's true. This budget of the UPND is, unfortunately, they have brought more problems than solutions in our country. Zambians are suffering when they are putting more taxes on poor Zambians. All right. Raphael Perry says, morning, Mr. Zach and Honorable Kafwaya. The UPND has totally failed. The budget was a scam to the Zambian people, and Mr. Kafwaya continues speaking for the poor majority Zambians. Come 2026, the UPND is already gone. Let us unite. The ground is fertile. The budget is just okay because it curtails every ministry CDF increments. In Mapatizia constituency, sir, we have seen tangible development which was never seen before. Talk of dams, clinics, and schools. Civil servants will actually be employed during next year's budget, but you failed to do so during your last budget as PF. All right. I think those a couple of messages on Facebook. That particular one is coming from Clifford Siabonga, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if I can give you just 3 more phone calls, and then we should be concluding on today's edition. Good morning. How are you today? Good.
Well, under the circumstances, I'm okay. I could be better, of course, if I wasn't suspended from the National Assembly.
Your name and where are you calling us from? Honorable Mukosa. Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. Hmm. Yes. Right. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mkosa. Because of time, we have to leave it there. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but again, you're not concluding on budget, so I don't like the fact that you've swayed off the budget. And yeah, but yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Mkosa, for that. Let me take two more, and that will be our last. Good morning. Nauka Mwatabambi. Ramaka Angela, because of time, you have just 1 minute.
Nauka Make Angela. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Makangela. And let me take the last call. Good morning. Not too bad, thank you. Welcome. And your name and where are you calling us from? Brother Chisha. Yes, please, go ahead. Your last caller. Great.
I'm okay, thank you so much, Brother Chisha.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Chisha, our last caller. And please, you can react as we also conclude.
The very important interventions. I'll take just a little time.
Right.
Let me address Comrade Mukosa, who is Honorable Mukosa in another way. He began by saying the towers which I gave them when I was Minister of Transport are not providing good network. So we may have a problem with communication. Mr. Mukosa, I have to tell you that when those towers were given to you by the Ministry of Transport, where I was privileged to serve for some time, there was no load shedding. So what is causing the poor network is the powering of those towers, which is poor, because you can't expect towers not to have electricity. You don't even expect MNOs to be providing fuel on all the towers, because government can't give sufficient power to power their system. So the problem with the communication towers is energy, which is so poor under UPND, as we all know. Now, he also said something fundamental. Said, when you see an opposition leader like myself, talking about something so strongly, then you know government is doing well there. And he means CDF, okay? For me, let me be clear. I want Mr. Mukosa and all Zambians to talk more about 97% of the budget and ignore the 3% CDF, because it is not very sensible for the entire government machinery and the UPND machinery to focus on explaining to the Zambians about the application of 3%, and they are forgetting about the 97% in a country where people are losing billions of dollars. Let me tell you, half a year 2025, Zambia lost $3.5 billion in illegal money movements out of the country. So if you want me to be recruited into talking more about CDF, you are trying to recruit a very wrong person. For me, I want you and me to leave the 3%, let's go to the 97%. But also he said, if you say CDF is not working, then you have failed in your constituency. I am telling you, when the Auditor General audited Lunte, Lunte was just about the best performing when it comes to the application of these resources. Because inenga MP wa Lunte, I don't interfere in what people want. I only guide in that meeting where I belong. And in that meeting after that, I only do project monitoring. Kuyafya mukumonefa bale bomba, abobo ba parents to, chapwa, apo tabale bomba buino na vunduka. Apo babombere buino na tapana mbomba na pitandea. I am not that MP who pokes into the operations of the executive. Let me tell you, the local government is the executive. It is not National Assembly. I am not that MP who dips fingers into areas where I don't belong. You will never find it. The people of Lunte will tell you that, and in fact, that is the person I am. I do the job that I'm employed to do. So clearly, if you have failed by doing what I'm supposed to do, then maybe Mr. Mukosa, Comrade Mukosa or Honorable Mukosa could have been right. What else did he talk about? A number of things. I look healthier now. I don't know when I ever met you, Mr. Mukosa. I don't recall, but you may not know my health challenges. So to speak about my health in that fashion, I think it's totally uncalled for, if I may say. But also, should I be factual? Yes, I am being factual. 97% of the budget should be explained. I am being factual. Your government is going to borrow 106 billion, and yet they are claiming to be borrowing only little. Vachisha vachimona vamayo vanje chimona vane vonse vatiraranda kunume fia misonko mule Lunte fi mule chena abantu ero mule vachena abantu avene mukana mkulomboti vakamisare mu 2026 mukamona. You know, the people suffering increase CDF bena vachivikana bwino abatu apelo omwana obe 10 kwacha lero wampela ayayona ola 10 kwacha ero mairo waisa vati kampere 20 kwacha limbiena ala sunga bwino nishe ule tonton kanya fe bwino pamongo mfya nishure tonton kanya fe first kuishiva bushechaona wirire 10 kwacha nichinshi nifinshininga muchitiro omwana oyo pakwevati ngana ali mupere mpya na shimbi akashivomfya musango wafuire kushivomfesha tefi chitika ku CDF batampire fyo kulunda pakwevati barelanda pofechera mwaka na chimieva bazaki mu 2022 CDF yali 3.2 billion vaisalunda ko mu 2023 3.5 billion vaisalunda ko mu 2024 yaba 3.8 billion uno mwaka tulimo wa 2025 valunda ko 5.6 billion valunda na kabiri 6.2 billion echo barechitirefi ma politics now. Let me tell you why this is a political budget and nothing else. Page one, here. How many times did the minister mention UPND? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More introduction by minister mentioned UPND 5 times. This is not a UPND budget. This is a national budget. How do you mention UPND? Miku 5. More introduction. Page 1 only. So, I'm not the one politicking. This is a political budget. But it didn't end there. Even as he said, a conclusion, part 4 conclusion, he has to mention UPND. This is a national budget. Now, what is contained in this national budget is UPND thinking. It is poor thinking.
Your concluding remarks.
I love you, UPND members. I love you, everybody. And when I come to speak with you, I'm speaking from the point of love. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya, Member of Parliament for Lunte constituency. And today we centered our conversation with him around the 253.1 billion kwacha 2026 national budget, which was obviously presented by Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning, Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, on the 26th of September 2025 in the National Assembly. We appreciate your participation and, of course, your listening and following our conversation.